Hey everyone, Joe here with the Idaho Prepper channel, and in today's video we're going to be taking a look at some of the scouting and survival gear that I keep in my ATV. So stay tuned, this should be a good one. All right, so real quick, before we get into the gear here, I'll just let you guys know this is a 2001 Yamaha Kodiak 400. I picked it up about 4 years ago for a really good deal, but it was in terrible shape. So I brought it home. I replaced all of the fluids in here, replaced the brakes. I ended up replacing the CV axles in the front, and I also reupholstered the seat there. And then I pulled it all apart and then painted everything. And then the most recent thing I did was I replaced the tire. So I got some new tires on here, and I also installed a winch. So this thing is tip top, very reliable machine. The thing I love about having an ATV is not only does it get me up in the mountains, I can go hunting, I can go camping and get into areas that my truck can't get into, but I can also do a lot of chores around my homestead, and I can also basically drive it anywhere in my community and go and visit neighbors. So definitely it is a must-have piece of machinery when you're living in a rural area. All right, so we'll go ahead and we'll start with everything that I keep on the front rack here. So we have an axe, and this is an axe that I actually picked up at a garage sale and then survivalized it. Survivalized?
What in heaven's name are you talking about?
So there's a video where I basically survivalized this axe. It was one of my first videos. If you guys want to torture yourselves, you can go watch that old video. Over here we have a Remington 870 that I camoed and modified a little bit. So great ATV gun. And then right here we have a Gerber trenching shovel. I actually got this at a surplus store about 10 years ago for like $10, I think. It was a really good deal back when you could actually get good deals at the surplus stores. And then right here, I have a folding saw. And that way, if I come across any fallen trees on the trail, I can just pull this out and cut those trees and continue on my way. Over here, I have a light, and this is magnetic, and I can basically just hold it and see my way around, and it just plugs into this cigarette lighter here. Let's see, right here, I have just this cell phone holder. That way, when I'm going through the trails, I can put my cell phone here if anyone wants to call me. But I usually use this because I have my Onyx map on my cell phone, and I just have it up front here so that I can kind of navigate myself around. And now moving to the back seat pouch here, and we'll just start with this side pouch, but this whole bag area is pretty much where I keep all of the survival gear. So there's a lot to get into, so I'm just going to kind of go through this pretty quick. But I have a Baofeng GMRS radio in here. I have this Baofeng GMRS, or UV5R radio in here. Getting confused with my radios. And then that's the extension antenna for that radio. And then right here we got some gloves, and then I got a whole roll of rope. All right, so in this pouch here, this is just like an admin pouch. I got a lot of electrical components in here. So I got an inverter for the ATV. I can plug this into the cigarette lighter and then just use whatever 12-volt accessories I need. And then here I have a 12-volt charger that I can plug into that inverter. And on the end of this, I have two USB-C cables, so I can charge not only my hand radios, but also my flashlights. And then here I have a cell phone charger that I can also plug into the cigarette lighter. And then here I have this EcoFlow power supply. And then I keep an extra pair of readers and a pen And then I carry some of these earplugs for shooting. And then moving on to this pouch here, this is my toolkit. So just have some basic tools in here for making repairs. I got an extra pair of work gloves. I have some of this rubberized wire. So this stuff is great for strapping down my axe, my firearm, and shovel. So I picked this up at a local sporting goods store. It's a great product, but really easy to strap everything down with this stuff. So not very exciting. We just have some basic screwdrivers in here. I got some zip ties, got some pliers, and then I have some electrical tape in here, and of course some channel locks, things like that. So that is my toolkit. And then the last thing I have in here is this IFAK. So inside here I keep some basic trauma supplies. I have a tourniquet, a compression bandage, some trauma shears. I got this small homemade first aid boo-boo kit right here. Got some compressed gauze. Got some of this stretch tape here, and then some more gauze, an emergency blanket, and then of course I keep a bunch of these compressed towels. So you know, I always say these things, they're so cheap. You can buy a case of these for like $5, and these are invaluable when you're out in the woods. All right, so moving on to the back pouch here, and the first thing we have on top here is this 8x10 shelter. So this is just a nylon tarp that I keep in here, and I vacuum sealed it in this bag. And then right here is where I keep some basic food. And inside here, I don't have a whole lot of stuff because this, you know, this whole survival loadout really isn't intended for me to stay out in the mountains long term. It's really just in case, you know, something happens, my ATV breaks down, or I get lost and I end up having to stay a night or two at the worst. So don't have a lot of food in here. So the first thing we have is some ReadyWise chili. And then we have some Peak Refuel. This is their breakfast skillet. And then the rest of the stuff in here, we just got some basic trail mix snacks. We got some of this Mountain Ops energy. And then I keep some nutrient survival powder drink mix, and then a couple of these Trader Joe coffee mixes. Next thing we have is a shamog. A lot of good reasons to always have a shamog with you. And then the last thing I keep in here is this big wool blanket. So this is going to keep me warm. Pretty much we're at the end of winter right now. We're in the 1st of March. So this wool blanket is pretty much all I need to keep me warm if I get stuck out in the mountains. All right, so moving on to the last pouch here. And the first thing we have here is a pair of binoculars. So this is just a really good pair of Vortex binoculars. Now, I will say, you know, when I'm on my ATV and I'm out in the mountains, the one thing that I'm really doing more than anything is just kind of doing like basic recon. I'm exploring, I'm discovering some potential bug out areas, and also like new potential hunting areas. So I always keep a pair of binoculars with me in my ATV. Next thing we have in here, and pretty much everything that's in this pouch is pretty much related to survival. So we got this little pot right here, and I can't remember the company that makes this, but these are great because it's got this little hook so you can hang it over a fire and just boil water in it. And then it's got the little handle that pops out, and you know, you can basically have a hot cup of coffee or just boil water to make your food. So great little cooking pot. Next thing we have is this Grail. I think this is like a 24 ounce, 28 ounce, something like that. I don't think it's 32, but somewhere between 28 and 32 ounce. But this is a great water filtration system. And then the next thing we have here is a case of shotgun shells for my shotgun. And I have some birdshot in here, some buckshot, and even some slugs. So pretty much every round that I would need to take any type of game that I wanted. And then in this kit here This is just basically my survival kit. So the first thing we have in here is this bush knife. This is a Brothers of Bushcraft knife by Tops. So great knife. I don't use this very often, so I basically just keep it in my ATV as my bush knife. But this is a really heavy duty knife. It's great for chopping and batoning wood, and also you know it's sharp enough for where you can do feather sticks with this. But great heavy duty bush knife. And then of course on the sheath here it has a fire steel. All right, moving on, we have some insect repellent, and this is by Sawyer. I didn't even know Sawyer made insect repellent, so kind of interesting. They make water filtration systems and insect repellent. Next thing we have here is a Right in the Rain notepad. And then in this can here, I keep a bunch of tarred bank line if I need to make a shelter. So I have a lot of cordage in here. And then next thing I have in here is this small compact S-bit stove. This isn't an actual S-bit, it's kind of a knockoff, but these things are great. It's all aluminum construction and they are extremely affordable. I think I got this stove with the fuel tabs for like under 10 bucks. So these are great if you just are on the go and you want to boil a quick cup of water. You can do that with this stove. Then I keep some stormproof matches in here. And it's waterproof case. And then of course I always keep a can of sawtooth fire tinder in here for starting fires. So this is waterproof and windproof fire tinder. And then we have a fire steel. And then of course I always keep a lighter in here. And then I have some small game snares in case I end up getting stranded out in the mountains a lot longer than I thought I would. This way, at least I know I have the ability to procure some food and stay alive. And then, of course, I always keep a compass. And then the last thing I have in here is just this basic emergency poncho. And then I have this 32-ounce Nalgene bottle full of water. And then the last thing I keep in my survival kit is this sidearm. So this is an HK USP. It's chambered in 40 cal, but great sidearm to have when you're out in the mountains. It can pretty much defend me against any threat that's out here. All right, you guys, well, that's going to do it for me today. I hope you enjoyed the video. Let me know in the comment section if you have any questions for me. And if you're interested in any of the gear that you saw in today's video, I'll make sure to leave links in the description. So if you haven't done so already, please make sure to hit that thumbs up button and subscribe to my channel. And if you want to see more videos like this in the future, make sure to hit that notification bell. So with that said, until the next time, stay prepared.